So you guys are in for a treat. We have Patricia Holdsworth here today. She has been a photographer within Regina and Saskatchewan for a number of years. I won't tell anybody how many, but I do know that she has seen the landscape of, the changes over, the last, 20 years, we can at least say. And I would love for you to explain to us your love of photography.
Oh, that's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, it has always been kind of a passion for me. I've been at it for a lot of years, and I've been in the industry in various ways. Everything from product photography. I did a lot of food photography. I do architecture. I've done people and
what kind of clients were they? Were they like for the newspaper? I imagine people did lots more photography back in the day.
Well, it was a variety of people that were looking for my services. Some were more challenging than others. Like I would work for the Dunlop Art Gallery, and they'd have installations, and there was no digital, so it was all really figuring it out.
Oh yeah,
to put on film, and they'd have things hanging from the ceiling and moving in low light.
That's tricky. So for those of you that are in the digital age, back in the film days, I used to actually work at a photo studio and developed many a film. And so I kind of have appreciation for when you take a picture and you have no idea if it turned out, if the lighting was good, if you got it, sharpened on the right image where you want it. It's a lot of unknowns.
That's the thing, though, is I did know how it would turn out because I was doing it right.
So that's why you pay for somebody to be there.
Right. So I always knew what I was getting. I knew because I had light meters and readings. I wasn't guessing anything. I knew what was going on all the time. That's kind of funny in a way because people are like, oh, digital, you can just try a bunch of times. Well, that's true, I guess, but
you could do it right with one.
Yeah. Anyway, I've always enjoyed. I love the creativity that's involved, and I like the challenge that are presented. I like how immediate it is. It's not like sitting and painting all day. You take a photo and you've got your result. And maybe I'm a little high energy and stuff. I don't want to have to wait for a week for something to come back if I can.
You definitely have a way of making a person feel comfortable, or at least capturing it as if they were comfortable. And I love that about your photography.
Oh, thank you. Well, I do want it to be a good experience for anyone that I'm photographing, that they are at home, that they're comfortable, that they have fun, and yeah, absolutely.
So over the last few years, we've kind of connected in our business kind of hat. I definitely enjoyed having Patricia take photos for my home business, QC Gifts. And what you did for me wasn't just photos. And I love the perspective that you have with your business. And I was hoping that you could explain to people why I'm saying that it was more than just a picture.
Oh, trick question.
Well, no, you brand things.
Yes, that's true. That is something that I have taken on. I'm always looking out as to what's happening, what's new, what's going on. I try to be up to date with all the technology and the learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I had to be.
Well, and you're not scared of Instagram. Like I see the posts that you put up, and it's just like your second nature.
Build a website. I can build a website. I can do all of those things because it's just a matter of sitting down and figuring it out. It's never been that hard. So when I started to become aware of branding, well, just as a way of taking a look at your business from the basics. Okay, well, what am I doing? I've got a product. How do I put it out there? It's different. I mean, we used to call that a business plan, and you pay all this money and someone would give you a business plan and put everything together for you, and then you were done. But it's quite different now because everything is so visual and so content driven. So branding, I think, is addressing all of the requirements of the how people are moving forward in their business. Well, what's branding? Okay, well, I had to figure that part out, and then I what I looked at is that, well, what about being a photographer doing branding photography? first I have to brand myself.
That's true.
That's my starting point, because that's the learning curve, and that's what I need to put together. So
how did you come to be branded for Behold?
Well, that was I went online. I studied the different courses that were out there. I said, okay, what do you need? You need a vision statement. You need a mission statement. You need a brand purpose. You need a brand identity. You need all those kinds of things. So that's what I sat down and worked through. And thought, what do I want to do here? What do I have to offer? Who am I? What am I doing? And what's its purpose?
Mm-hmm.
So how am I serving people if I've done business portraits. And they're great. You do business portrait, nice, clean business portrait. This is something else.
100%.
This is like with the work we did with you is, well, what are you doing? What are you trying to express? You're like, you got the prairie girl and
totally
we're out in the prairies.
Exactly. It's more than just a picture of a person.
Yeah. So it's like, so I looked at myself to start and broke that down and built the website and did the logo and got my colors and my fonts and did all those things. And then
what was the website so that we can, like, if somebody's, listening?
Beholdbranding.com.
Okay. So check that out, and you will understand more about what she's explaining right now.
The business name is Behold Branding Photographer, but I thought, I don't need people to have to write out photographer every time.
It is one word.
Behold Branding was available. Let's stop right there. I try to keep things simple. So once that, but then of course, I want to be able to provide people with strong images that are creative and innovative and really put across who they are. Then I thought, well, I need strong images that show who I am and what I do. And so I line things up and find somebody that I could, practice on. I found a house that I could work out of. I, put it all together and came up with something that I was very happy with. And that's what I have put forward. And now I'm starting to connect with people and do more of this branding photography, and that's pretty exciting. It's a lot of fun, and it's so much more in depth.
I was going to say,
what I like about it.
So much more in depth.
So much more. You sit down with them, you say, well, what is your business? And sometimes they're very new, so they don't know about mission statements and identity and
or they haven't created it
all the
even
different
yet
things
with them.
that their business. We were talking at one point about there's key elements to branding your business, like you want to have clarity, consistency. You want to be authentic. You want to know what your target market is. There's all those kinds of things, and so having if you work through that, then the visuals start to line up. You think, okay, well, this is your target audience. This is what we maybe need to consider doing in order to get their attention.
And it makes a big impact when the right person is looking at the right image.
Yeah. The other thing is that creating a library almost of images, because I used to do a campaign and create an image, and that would be the image for the year, basically. And now it's the image of the day.
It's crazy.
It's just like, put this out. You want to be able to, as a professional in an industry that's trying to connect with people and putting out content, you want to be able to say, okay, this image is going to work today. This is what I want to talk about. So, okay, got that one. A couple of days later, okay, now this one is going to work better. And then as a photographer, I also want to provide my client with images that are set up for what they're doing. Is it Facebook? Because that's one size. Is it Instagram? That's another. Is it a cover? Is it a reel?
Header.
Is it
so many different sizes?
Yeah, and all those sizes are have to be taken into consideration, because you put something out and go, it doesn't look like what I put out there. Well, it cropped funny or whatever. Yeah, so there's lots of things to think about.
I think that having those sort of pieces all line up together, though, makes such an impact.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think that in Saskatchewan, we have a lot of interesting things to take pictures of, which is great. I know you've taken pictures of architecture in the past too, hey?
Oh yeah, architecture is great. It's seasonal, right? And there's not tons of it. We live
they
in
don't
Saskatchewan.
want us to have pictures in -40?
Oh, they're not getting them.
Yeah.
Although, I did just do an interior the other day. So interiors we can do throughout the year, but it seems like the construction comes on, and it's all through the spring and into the summer, and then by the end of the summer, I am going full out for a while there, doing on the road sometimes, traveling around. I have a number of architectural clients that I do work for, and I enjoy that too.
I remember you explaining that there's a special time towards the evening, I think it was, that you like to take your photos.
Yes.
I'm giving away secrets.
No, I that's fine. I mean, your two things are lining up at the same time. You want the sun to go down.
Why is that?
Because otherwise it's reflecting off the building for the most part.
Oh.
And if it's gone down, then it's that nice soft light. And then you're waiting because you want the building lights to come on.
Oh, geez.
Now they're on sensors, so there's nobody to talk to. Would you put the lights on? Nobody's. Sorry, they're on sensors. They're only going to come on when they come on. So I'll take a few shots before the lights come on, and then I am waiting and waiting, sometimes for a while. And then they come on, and bang, I'm there, I take it. And then get a few more, and then grab that, I'm working with an assistant most of the time because we're grabbing this tripod, which is, massive because it's, I got to get it pretty high, and I don't want it buffeted by winds and stuff when I'm taking shots. So sometimes they're time exposures. And we got a ladder, and so we hustle to the next spot. And I've already pre-identified these are our locations. We're starting here, we're going here, we're going here. So maybe, get 3 or 4. So you really hustle in about a 20-minute window, and that's it. Then it's too dark. The sun's gone down, the lights in the building are too bright by comparison.
Interesting.
So it's a hustle. It's a hustle. And the same, you can do it before the sun rises.
That's pretty early sometimes in Saskatchewan.
And in the summer, if you're doing back-to-back in July, man, the sun doesn't set until like 11 o'clock or so. It rises at 3 in the morning.
A really,
that's
really, really long day.
I try to avoid doing that. I mean, it has happened, but please no.
So you listed a lot of ideas about what a branding means, that it's more than a logo, and you said about being consistent and authentic. I really want you to talk about authenticity, because I really find that nowadays with AI, you can take a picture and it could be marketing, but how is that authentic?
Well, I think that people don't buy just products or services. They buy brands they trust, and authenticity helps build trust and helps you stand out. The thing about authenticity is that it's your story. It's who you are. It's what drove you to do what you do, and how you do it. And there's a level of excitement that you put out when you're
passionate about it.
Yeah, when you're passionate, that's the way to say it. And showing up as yourself, whether it's in video or
that's
photography
hard.
Or in writing.
That's been my hardest thing, I find, with marketing. It's like I guess being now on this show for the last couple of years, it's helped me to be more out there and not be as shy about my face and me being in it. But with my business, when I first started it, I was not going to show my face. I didn't want to at all. I just wanted to be behind the scenes doing the things. But people said to me, but you're your brand.
Yes.
So that's when I really thought about that. And I thought, you know what, maybe I have to put myself out there just a little bit more.
Once you've been out and you're doing that and you start to become more comfortable in your own skin, I think that lends itself to you just having more fun at it and not being so self-conscious. I mean, you look great. There's no reason for you not to just be, hey, look at me, I'm doing this and I'm excited and this is what I'm making and these are all the things that I've got going on. And you've got a lot going on too. I mean, we've talked about some of the things that you've done and places you have all your gifts, and it's exciting. So be excited.
Yeah, I feel like that's just been one of those things that has been, I had to push myself for sure. For sure. It's not in my comfort zone whatsoever. I'd much rather, not be in front of the camera, but it's good to have somebody that you trust. And then, you build up, you've taken many pictures a few times now, and I love them. And she makes me look and I really love it. So let's look at other ideas when we think about branding that, the strong visual identity and the emotional connection. Oh my goodness, those are two really, really big things. Do you find that challenging to do when you're taking a picture, to really like portray like an emotional connection, or is that really something that is what your goal is?
Well, when you're using storytelling, then there is the emotion that is naturally there. And definitely some people are more reluctant to express themselves and to have those expressions. But then that's where just identifying with them, listening to them, just working with them and asking questions and getting them to be more just connected to what it is they're trying to accomplish. And I think when all that lines up, then the emotion is there. And then they talk about what they've done. Like, okay, somebody bought their services or their products and there was a transformation. Tell me about the transformation. What happened? Oh, they loved it. It's like, okay, what went into that? I mean, if you're really excited about what you're doing, the emotion is going to be there.
That's interesting. So you must know the right questions and how to, like, a photographer has to go farther than just saying, cheese. There's definitely more layers, and especially with the branding.
Well, that's where when you, like, so branding is different, say, like I said, with the business portrait, because the business portrait, you're basically just showing up in there, do nice lighting and a nice pose and get some nice expressions, but then you're basically done. But if you're talking about working with someone to do branding photography, you want to sit down with them and do a session in advance. And I've got a questionnaire that identifies what it is that I'm looking forward to be able to work with them as well.
Oh, that's great.
But it is a full page, and I'm asking them also color things like, what are your colors? What kind of colors are going to work best for you? What is the best kind of location for you to work out of? Do you have an office, or are you? Is this going to be a more contemporary looking shot with strong lines? Depending. I don't know if you're real estate and you're photographing sell buildings or sell homes, or where's the best place for you to be? It could be in the studio as well. So those are all the kinds of questions. And then, what's your tone of your business? Are you playful? Is it luxurious?
Right.
Are you very serious? I mean, maybe we're not laughing at each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. But knowing what they're who they are, and what their I guess their brand identity is, and finding out all those things about them, then I'm proceeding with the knowledge of what we are trying to accomplish. So I'm driving it that way. I'm directing and making sure that we're ticking off the boxes of the things that they need.
So what's your process from there? So you get this list of all of the information you need. Yeah. Are you one of those people that visualizes it when you're like going to sleep, or do you, go for a walk? I'm curious.
Well, once I figured out where we're going to go, I will go in advance. I do scout locations so that once I have seen the space, then I can assess how the lighting is going to best be achieved and accomplished. We've got a number of things to do. What are good angles? And then it's in my head, and it's ruminating, and I'm making notes and maybe taking some preliminary shots so that when the client is there, we can move through it in fairly short order too. I'm not waiting for me to go through a process. I've been through the process. Now this is what I'm suggesting. But also, what's your input? Client, I want lots of ideas from them if they have them. Some just do it.
Yeah.
And others have lots of input. So
what an interesting perspective to see for other people's businesses, and you really get a lens into it.
Oh yeah. It's like planet hopping. Everybody does something different, offers something unique, and
I love that about you. So in addition to Behold, you also have another business that I think is really interesting too.
Which one is that, Kathy?
She makes the backdrops of some fairly high-end photographers here in the city and around the world.
Well, let's say nationally, because that's where I'm at right now. I've actually just connected with the Professional Photographers of Canada, and they've asked me to be a part of their group of suppliers.
I think this is fantastic.
I love it. Yeah.
So how did this all start? You went, like, was this during COVID or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because I couldn't sit. I can't sit still. There's nothing to photograph. There's nobody to photograph.
Right.
I mean, so I wanted a backdrop for myself. So I sourced the canvas and figured out paints, and you've got this period of time.
When you say canvas, though, sorry, the canvas, it's not just a small piece of canvas, though. These are like huge.
8 by 12 is my maximum size.
Okay. Wow.
And it's sort of bringing that in, and the weight of the canvas, and there's a whole process. And I was fine with that because I had the time to do it. I wouldn't have, and it's interesting because I've just working on one right now for a guy out of Nova Scotia, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've got a piece of canvas in the corner." He phoned me actually just because, he's with the PPOC, so was making this connection.
Wonderful.
Says, I've never painted it because it's just like I saw all these problems people were having with them, and the lines and the wrong color of paint, and I'm like, yeah, check. I went through all of that, but then I got to the other side of it, so now I can bring it in. I've got my platform, I know what I'm doing, and I can put these together, and it doesn't take me a ton of time, actually.
You had a video where you shared your process.
I did. That got like 200 plus views.
Woo!
I think it went up to a lot more than that. What am I saying? I didn't look the last time, but I was kind of, are you kidding? I mean, I'm just standing there doing my
I think people like to know see the behind the scenes, the process.
And that's, in a way, I'm also branding myself in another, in my backdrops as well. And so I had actually refurbished a backdrop for a local photographer, Cassidy, and she had this big backdrop, but she didn't like it. So I said, oh, well, just repaint it. That's not a big deal. It's a light colored, so I can just paint over it.
Fantastic. I would never think to doing that. You're like, oh, just paint it.
Well, just do this. Yeah, well, we're friends, and I want
like
to help
this.
her out. So so I says, but you can get a few shots for me to throw on my
while I'm doing it.
While I'm doing it, yeah. And I put that because I said, oh, behind the scenes, that's part of my branding, behind the scenes, and so that one did very well. That's kind of fun.
Very cool. I love the backdrops. I never thought about like the depth of layers and all of that sort of process that you must see when you're doing it. It's like a painting.
It's a very creative expression of. I played with all kinds of different tools. I go in the garage. Oh, I wonder if I could use this and come up with something.
Your poor hubby is like all of a sudden the paint he had for the fence is gone.
He said, "Where'd the squeegee from the garage go?"
Squeegees work really good.
They work pretty good. And then what happened to the mop head? Oh shoot!
That's
I guess
awesome.
I need another mop. Anyway. But then I made my own tools and stuff for creating textures, and I like them to have an organic feel to them. And people are really liking them. So I thought, okay, I'm on the right page here. I sent out a big one not too long ago to a woman in Winnipeg, and she said, I love it. Okay, check. She loves it.
The more stuff we can get within Canada too, and supporting people within this country right now, like this is what we're trying to do.
Yes, I did make sure I sourced the canvas in Canada.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I did, yes.
So are there many people that make backdrops in Canada? I can't say I've ever checked on the online to find anything like that.
You know what? There are quite a few people here and there, just say working from home. I did the research and said, well, who is out there? Same question, right? So just hashtag backdrops, and you see lots and lots of them. But I guess I'm a little more assertive in how I go after things and there are people who are doing a massive amount of backdrops, and there's the queen of backdrops out of New York.
Okay.
Oliphant, but they're, very high end, very expensive. And so I'm not there. I'm more, middle, I guess.
Well,
because
not everybody needs.
I'm also
the
not out of
fanciest.
New York in a huge space with staff.
cheap.
Yeah. So anyway,
not.
yeah. So, but my connection with the Professional Photographers of Canada, I went to their convention.
Smart.
I went to the convention. I put up all my backdrops. They said I could put them up. I gave one away on a draw, and now I'm working with them in a much more solid way. I mean, that's how you do business. To me, you don't just say you're out there. You get in and you make your connections. And what was my target market? I'll tell you, my target market was photographers.
The association. Yeah. You nailed it.
Across Canada.
Oh, it's been a pleasure learning about all these little things that you're doing, and they're not little, they're actually very big, but
they're kind of little too.
Little side projects all
things
over.
That I'm doing here and there, but I've got lots of things on the go for sure, but nothing that like this is this part and that happens on its own, and then I've got this and this. I got 3 basic areas that I work in, and the branding I'm really excited about that. And
your work's beautiful that you've been doing with that. I really enjoy seeing it. So what's your Instagram tag if we want to find you? Behold or Patricia?
At Behold Branding.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on the bottom of the link when I do the video.
Please do.
And we'll share that so people can jump on and see all your beautiful stuff.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks for coming. Take care out there.